Well, I can't believe I'm saying this right now, but welcome to episode 1000. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, you're probably not. My name is Talon. I make new videos every single week, and Happy New Year. If you're jumping on board to the channel right now, super stoked you're here. I got a big year ahead of me, kind of like always, and at the start of the new year, I like to kind of sit down, reflect on the previous year, and then this is really the only time I ever make a video talking about future plans before they actually come to fruition. So we just left 2024. It is currently 2025 now as you're watching this, and I've got a lot of stuff to fill you in on. Some stuff I'll go into more detail than others, but I am very stoked for this coming year because I'm going to be doing a few things that I have never done before. I've only ever talked about here on the channel. So I'm out here in the mountains with the Tundra, the Kimbo. I got a little fire going, and yeah, just a little fireside chat to kick off the new year. I will hopefully answer some questions that you guys have had for me over this past year, and I'm gonna fill you in on all of the details. So on my way up here, I actually re-watched my video from last year so I could kind of get a better idea of like what I said I was going to do. A lot of the things that I said and asked you guys about in that video, I did accomplish. There were some things that were kind of like not as interesting, which I didn't even get to this year, but let's reference that year-end recap video. I'll leave a link for it up there in the corner if you want to kind of see where I was coming from going into 2024. So one of the biggest things that happened last year, and one of the biggest things that's going to happen this year, stemmed from this right here. What other plans are there for 2024?
A big fat ring.
A big fat ring, says Ashley. So Ashley was hoping for a big fat ring, and she did get said ring. We got engaged back in April, I believe it was. We were at an event surrounded by all of our friends from the van community, and she was really caught off guard. She thought it was going to happen kind of later in the year. She really had no idea when, and there's never like a perfect moment to do something like that, but she was definitely caught off guard. We had an absolute blast kind of celebrating with our friends, and then we told all of our family and stuff like that. So stemming off of that, the biggest thing that has been on our minds since that time and progressing into this new year is that we will be getting married later this year. We're going to be getting married in September. So we basically have everything in line, ready to go, and now we're just kind of waiting. A few odds and ends to button up here and there. I had to order a new custom suit because I haven't worn a suit since my previous life. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for that, and it's going to be small. It's going to be a pretty small venue, just some close friends and family who have stayed in touch with Ashley and I as we've been kind of moving around all of the time, constantly traveling. Basically anyone who has stayed in touch with us and has visited us, we're hoping that those people will be there with us on that day, and I'm looking forward to it. She is too, by the way. She's working third shift, which is why I'm filming this video by myself right now. So that's going to be the main thing, which you guys really won't see on video at all because I'm not working on the day of my wedding, but you'll see some stuff leading up to that, maybe. And then in the previous video, I talked a lot about my content plan for the year that just passed, 2024, and it was mainly vehicle focus, which it kind of will be again this year too, but with a little bit of a different flair on it, I guess. Actually, before we get into the vehicles, one thing that I'm excited to kind of bring back a little bit more is EDC videos. I've been reading all of your comments on the very few videos that I've made about everyday carry stuff this year, and you guys love those videos. I don't make them frequently because I get something that I like and I stick with that. However, going into this new year, I'm going to start kind of a new series, and I'm going to try to keep up with it, but I'm going to change my everyday carry setup at least every month. I'm going to try to stick to that. I actually already have new EDC gear with me right now, and I'm just trying some new things. So at the end of every month, roughly, I'm going to sit down and bring you guys hey, this is what's been in my pocket for the month of January, and I'll kind of review some items, some new stuff, maybe some old stuff will be thrown in there, but gonna expand my horizons once again, kind of like I used to back in the day. I will say the products that I bought already, I just bought a bunch of stuff on Amazon. One in particular I really like, and I think it's working out really well for how I like to carry things nowadays. So stay tuned for all that stuff. If you have any recommendations, or if there's something that maybe you make like wallets or flashlights or something, or knives, if you want to see me check something out, shoot me an email or just send it into my P.O. box. I have a lot of packages from companies that make like everyday carry items, and I'm just gonna kind of pick and choose each month and switch things out. Wallet, flashlight, knife, maybe like a solution for storing keys, my belt and sunglasses and other stuff like that. That all generally stays the same, but yeah, definitely expect some more EDC content coming this year. You guys gotta at least hold me to the first one, so at the end of this month, I'll bring you guys that video. Now for the vehicles. A big part of my channel is of course being outside and adventuring and kind of building stuff up. So the Tundra is one that was not really on the docket until I made that video from last year, but in the video from last year, I was out in my Storyteller. I had almost had it for a year at that point. I'm now coming up on 2 years of owning my Storyteller Classic, aka the side mode, and you didn't see it a ton this year, but I traveled in it quite a lot. So Ashley and I did take an entire month off, and we made the journey to Alaska. I filmed almost every single day on that trip, and I broke it up into 4 like longer length videos. So if you haven't caught that series, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a watch. It was a ton of driving. It was great to explore basically the last frontier that I've never been to before, and the only state left on my list is Hawaii. So maybe if we can afford it after Ashley and I get married, maybe we will honeymoon in Hawaii, and then I will have been to all of the 50 states in America, which is pretty cool. Not a ton of people get to say that they've explored every state, and I've explored every state. I've camped in every state that I've been to so far, so pretty stoked on that, and we actually made it happen. As far as plans for the Storyteller going into this year, there's something that may happen. I don't know how I'm going to like break this one to you guys, but I may end up spending a lot of time in the van, and Storyteller's making new products all the time, so maybe I'll be able to test some more things like the hilt, which I also tested out this year. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that's going to be happening, and I'm going to do my typical like couple trips throughout the year with the van. It will be more spread out this coming year than it was in 2024. So the discussion of Toyota products. I had the 3rd gen last year. I said I was not going to sell that truck. I built it up to be like a more of an off-road capable vehicle over the years that I had it, and I mentioned, hey, 2024 Tacoma's coming out, the new 4th gen, new power system. I didn't want a gas model. I was going to hold off until I could get a hybrid, and of course that happened. I do have a 2024 Tacoma now, but I also kind of ended that whole statement with, hey, I kind of like the Tundra. Do you guys want to see me do Tundra stuff? And a large majority of you guys wanted to see me get into a Tundra. So I made that happen, but the only way I could make that happen is if I did get rid of my 3rd gen. So my 3rd gen went to a new home. You guys will actually probably see that truck again here on the channel in a little bit, but I sold that truck to get into this truck because you guys really wanted to see me in a Tundra, and I've done a lot of content with the Tundra, between a tent setup early on, traveling down to Overland Expo and Flagstaff with the Diamondback, custom Sherpa rack, a tent on there. It was a great time. And then I also did a couple of videos with the Kimbo on here as well, because of course it's like winter time now. Did a big kind of like expedition trip up in Oregon, and it's been a blast. I'm really enjoying this truck. As of right now, I'm not affected by that recall that the earlier models were. I hope I'm not affected by that, but worst case scenario, I put a bunch of miles on this truck and Toyota puts a new motor in it. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm really like fingers crossed, hoping it won't, but the truck's been reliable for me so far, and it's nice and simple, effective. It's a great truck to drive, especially when you're going across the country. And then the 4th gen Tacoma, that was pushed off and pushed off. I was supposed to get it in like March, April time frame, and that didn't come in until like later in the summer. So there wasn't a ton of Tacoma content throughout this year, so I kind of apologize for that. But going into this new year, there will definitely be a lot more. That's more of my solo adventure truck when I'm going out and I don't have Ashley or Camber with. I don't need a ton of gear. It's lighter, more nimble. The power feels really good, and I'm looking forward to testing out what that truck has to offer just a little bit more. We did do some trips to Moab where I was pulling my Rustic Mountain Overland trailer. I also began building that out more, which I haven't even showed you guys yet. This is me filling you in on some future stuff, but I do have that trailer kind of hooked up, ready to go, and I'm going to be switching up sleeping setups between these trucks going forward. So the Kimbo that's on the truck now, it will be on the truck for maybe like another month or two, but after that, I'm going to venture out into a new setup. I've done a lot of different camping setups between hammock camping, ground tent camping, of course, a lot of rooftop tent camping. I'm going to get into something different. Not a slide-in camper like this, not a rooftop tent, but something that kind of merges the two. And that will be coming hopefully around the February, March timeframe, and that is going to be involving this Tundra right here. So I'm really stoked to bring you guys some more info on that, and you can drop some guesses in the comments down below if you want to try to figure out what I'm going to be doing with this truck. That being said, for the Tacoma, that is going to be my lighter, more nimble setup, and there will be rooftop tents on that truck. But this year, I'm doing things differently because a lot of people in the comments section ask me, hey, what do you think about this tent? What do you think about that tent? And for the most part, I've only really ran with like 2 different tent companies. That is changing now going into 2025, and I want to basically make my channel like a source of information for a lot of people who are into rooftop tents. So I am going to be working with some different tent companies, and I'm gonna kind of be testing out different setups. It may not always be a rooftop tent, but once the weather gets a little bit nicer, I mean, I say that right now, but it's like January and it's 60 degrees up here in the mountains. But once the winter hits and then passes, once I'm kind of done doing the initial stuff with the Tundra, I will be testing out some new products on the Tacoma. So if there is any specific rooftop tent that you guys want information on, like me personally using it, let me know that stuff in the comments down below. Also, feel free to send me an email if you have any like questions or comments or kind of requests about what you want to see. But I think it'll be a cool transition for the channel for me to test out a lot of different setups. It will give me more to talk about when I'm out on adventures. I can talk about pros and cons of basically everything that you can do with a relatively stock truck setup, and I'm looking forward to that one a lot. Now for some other vehicles, let's talk about the Supra. I mentioned in that last video that the Supra, I love the car. It was not a great daily driver for this time of year, and that's kind of why I bought the car. I mean, I've done a bunch of videos about why I purchased that thing, and I absolutely love the Mark V Supra, even though there's a ton of hate around it. I'm reporting now, and I kind of mentioned it late in the last video, but the Supra has sold. A lot of people in the Colorado area has you probably saw it listed at some point. I listed it across a few different platforms, and I did sell the Supra, so I have an open spot in my garage now, which is nice because I don't have a ton of room at my house. And yeah, that car was great, still love it. However, it will be replaced with something different very soon, like hopefully in the next 15 days. I am not sure how I'm going to structure those videos, but this new vehicle is going to be a little more practical for me where I live and stuff like that, but also because of some life changes that are coming up, it is going to be awesome. I'm really excited for it. Again, I love the Supra, but this car I'm also very excited for a bunch of different reasons, which you guys will find out at some point. Maybe in the next couple of videos, maybe not until later in the year, but it will kind of grow and evolve, this vehicle that I'm getting, because of some changes that are going to be made later on this year, and I'll fill you guys in on some more of that later. So if anyone out there has seen the Supra, you may have had the chance to buy it too. It's a great car. I've documented everything that I've done with it, and maybe if it stays local, maybe you guys will see that car again on the channel. I'm not sure, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, if it ever presents itself. Now, speaking of new vehicles and other things that have happened last year, this one was really not on my plate at all, but I, of course, made friends with some people at Toyota. So I was able to go out to West Virginia and I tested out a bunch of new Toyota products between the Land Cruiser 250s and the new Tacomas, of course. So I made a video comparing the TRD Pro Tacoma to the Trailhunter Tacoma, and that relationship is very new going into this new year, but there is a lot of stuff coming up. I'm actually going to be able to test a lot of new products from Toyota, not just Toyota though, Lexus, and you guys will see me kind of doing like some auto journalist type of stuff here on the channel, which is not something I typically do, but if I have this opportunity to put out more information and entertainment about some of these new vehicles, why would I not take that opportunity? So I am going to have an actual Toyota car coming very soon, which you guys will see some videos of here on the channel. After that, I'm going to be testing a Lexus product, and then after that, another Toyota product, and then after that, another Lexus product, and it's going to involve traveling a little bit. I'm going to be testing out 2 different vehicles on the East Coast, and then 2 different vehicles over on the West Coast in California, and I think you guys will be excited about that stuff. I know you guys who watch my videos, I'm hoping you watch them because you know kind of me and what I'm into personally. So it's not just going to be like a spec driven video where I'm like, these are the cool features, these are blah blah blah. Like a lot of videos that I see on new vehicles, they're kind of redundant, and I want to kind of put my own spin on it, review vehicles and kind of talk about them from my perspective, what I would personally do with the vehicles. And if there's anything that you want my info on, I would be glad to hopefully somehow get that vehicle for testing. So as of right now, basically anything Toyota Lexus, I think I can bring you guys videos on. But if there's anything outside of that, let me know. And if I'm interested in it, then maybe I can find a way to snag one for a review, whether it's from someone personally or a dealer or something like that. I'll try to make that stuff happen, and I hope you guys like it because it's a lot of work to do that stuff, and I enjoy it, but I want you guys to enjoy that stuff too. So we'll see how that stuff goes, and you will be getting those videos here very soon, like maybe as early as next week even. Now, as far as motorcycle stuff goes, I mentioned that I was going to be selling my last like big motorcycle, my Husqvarna 701 Supermoto. I did sell that soon after that video. So now my garage is very cleared out, which, to be honest with you, I'm kind of enjoying. I still have the Suron, I still have the Honda Grom, and I still have my Honda Ruckus, all very kind of inexpensive bikes that are small displacement, electric, and they're super fun. I haven't done a ton of moto content this year. I did a little bit on the Suron, a little bit on the Grom, and going into this year, I'm going to be honest, there probably won't be a ton of moto stuff early on, but as the year progresses, there may be some stuff that will come up, may allow me to make some more content on that. So if that's something that you guys really want to see, you got to let me know, because I feel like those videos are kind of hit or miss. I don't know if you guys actually enjoy those or not, and I want to make stuff that I enjoy that you guys enjoy as well. I don't plan on getting any new motorcycles anytime soon, so I think the fleet is going to be kind of how it sits right now, plus the addition of the new vehicle, which is coming soon. The only other thing that may come up like later in 2025 would be possibly a new vehicle, but not like a new brand new vehicle. It depends on how all of the testing goes with the Toyota and Lexus products that I'm going to be able to make content on, but I'm thinking about possibly getting back into like a dedicated off-road vehicle. So I would probably, if this happens, buy something used, kind of clapped out, and make it like dedicated for off-roading. So if there's some really hard trails around here in Colorado that I want to tackle, I don't want to take my nice new-ish Tundra or even the new Tacoma on those trails. So I may add a dedicated off-road vehicle to the lineup, kind of like a budget build, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'm not exactly sure if that's going to happen, though. The camp count was something that I put on my list this year. I said for 2024, I wanted to get out and camp just 52 times. I was up in the hundreds last year, and I wanted to spend more time at home, which I have been. I've been spending a lot of time in Colorado, and it has been really nice, honestly. This time of year is generally really slow with the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, and Thanksgiving, all of that. So I have been spending time here, and I've been enjoying it. The weather in Colorado has been very mild. I've only gotten out to ski. I got out to ski one time so far. With this trip coming up to the East Coast, probably won't ski until later in the season, but as of right now, we don't have a ton of snow in Colorado, so ski board videos will be coming out at some point. We will be doing the Shred Fest Tahoe trip, which is in February, late February, early March. So I'm going to try to make videos while I'm out there with some friends and camp count. I said 52 days this year, and I'm currently at 107 nights. A lot of that was because of the Alaska trip. We did like 30 plus days in a row there. I did a lot of camping in the tundra, a couple nights in the Tacoma after I got that, and it's crazy to think that I've camped that much this year, but it's something I enjoy doing. It's how I make videos for you guys, so hopefully you enjoyed a lot of those. I'm going to say going into this year, maybe shoot for 100. I think that's like pretty doable with all of the trips that I have coming up and whatnot, but that could go either way. I basically want to camp at least 52 nights a year, like I said in the last year recap video, but if I could get out once a week, I'm stoked on that. A lot of times they bunch up and then I spend more time at home other weeks. So that is pretty much everything that I have going into this new year without getting too into details on some stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I mean, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed and left a like and filled me in on what you guys really want to see. I really do read every comment and I try to take everything into consideration when coming up with like a content plan for the year. This year is going to be pretty cool because of a lot of the new vehicle stuff that I'm going to be working on, and I think it's going to go by really quickly, just like every year seems to. So if there's anything that you want to see, please drop your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, recommendations, suggestions in the comments down below, and I will try to get to that stuff. So thanks for sitting around and hanging out by the fire with me, and yeah. I guess if you're still here, I got one more thing for you guys. I mentioned in the video from last year something along these lines. I would also like to buy land. I'm just going to throw that out there. I've kind of maybe mentioned it in some videos, and I've been on the hunt a little bit. I've been saving a lot of money, as much as I possibly can. So I'm looking for some property, and I don't know if that will happen this year, but just throwing it out there. Now, without getting into too much detail, that may or may not have happened. I, in theory, might have bought property somewhere in the country. Could be here in Colorado, could be on the East Coast in Pennsylvania, could be in West Virginia, Montana, California. But in theory, that might have happened, and there may be some really big project coming for you guys soon, like maybe possibly building a house, building a proper side garage, maybe like a full-blown compound to kind of live out my dreams and do everything that I want to do that I can't really do while living in a city like I live in now. Just more space for everything that I do, vehicle builds and camping and projects, just kind of living outdoors. So in theory, that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? I think it would be. Okay, that's enough for now, I think. That's all you get. That's it. Should I leave this in? I'm going to leave this in. I guess I'll leave it in. I don't know. That's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you throughout the rest of 2025. Happy New Year.